I have three sons. The eldest one, who is 21 now, was alienated from me at 12 years old when I had the courage to leave the abusive relationship. And the younger two boys have stayed connected over the years, but the oldest one was the golden child, and highly manipulated, as you can truly understand. And I'm not sure how to reconnect with him. If I just let him come back on his, on his timeline, or, I continue to text him. I was calling him for a while, but he has just stepped away. He came back for a little bit and stepped away again. So in my case, I've experienced an incredible amount of family court corruption. I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't experienced it.
I can imagine. Yeah, I'm very sorry about your situation. It's so difficult to manage that when you're in crisis yourself. You almost become a researcher at a time
Yes.
where you should be getting support and help through it, which you don't get that through the court system.
Yeah.
What we teach through Eeny Meeny Miney Mo Foundation is it's called the approach withdrawal method. And so what you do is, there's a lot of people say, oh, wait until the kids, they'll come back to you eventually, and the problem with that is that children often contribute to the alienation, and that's through pressure, through being interrogated. They see the emotional cues from the alienating parent every time they talk about something good. It's sort of frowned upon, or things get twisted. And so, there's a lot of guilt that's behind that, and so children don't know whether that parent is actually, the target parent is approachable anymore, because often they step back, they think, oh, geez, I've really messed this up. There's no way I'm going to be able to reconnect with them, and it depends on the scale of the alienation as well. Some children turn into the alienating parent and become quite like a bully kind of thing. But then I've seen cases where I've seen children who have been very aggressive and abusive, and through teaching the approach withdrawal method is that they've been able to rekindle their relationship by kind of letting the child know that, that you're there, that you love them, not pushing your side of the story, and, and then stepping back, and if you get an aggressive response or no response, the aggressive one, I usually say, I just wanted to check in to see how you are, and just leave it at that. You don't bother trying to engage with someone who's being aggressive, because often the parent might be standing over them, or they might have shared that contact with them, and so you'll get that kind of response. There's other times where they might not be, and with the alienating parent, and you might get a little thing back like, oh, hi, or or thank you if you send a gift, or but then next thing you know, you're getting an aggressive response again, and it's quite confusing, because you think, oh gosh, you're being nice then, and then why they're being aggressive? Oh, I give up, I'll go away again. But it's because they're bonded to the abuser, and they will go in and they'll fight their battles for them, and so keeping that path open, like letting them know that you're there, that your arms are wide open, your front door's open, for when they want to come home, or if they want to spend time with you, that everything's okay, and see, I didn't experience that when that happened with my mum, because she didn't understand. She just thought, maybe I'll come back later on, maybe, I don't know, I'll never know. But from what I see with other parents is that they step away, and then the child doesn't come back. And so that's why it's important to let your child know that you are there, and that everything will always be okay between you and them. And there's a great term that Richard Warshak mentions in his book is strike when the iron is cold. Usually it's the opposite way around, like, when things are hot, like the metal's more pliable, but in alienation situations, they're not pliable. So you have to strike when the iron's cold. And so you have to try and find that time frame when they're, maybe they're walking home from school, or maybe it's on a weekend when they're away from the parent. It's just finding those times. And if you don't get a response, that doesn't mean that they don't want to, and it doesn't mean that they don't love you. They just don't know how to handle the situation. And if there's evidence that they've made positive contact towards you, that can be found by the alienating parent, and they know how much it disappoints them. And so that's why it's, I always say no response is not a bad thing, because I went through, it was like 7.5 years without my daughter. like contacting. She did. There was one response that was a negative one because I'd cancelled the phone plan, and there was I think there was another one. I can't remember exactly what it was, but there wasn't much contact in that 7.5 years. But yet I still kept sending birthday presents. I'd try and see them because there were court orders in place for me to see my kids, but they obviously weren't followed. So I still kept trying. And now that I've got my kids back, I've actually been able to ask them, like, what did I do right and what did I do wrong, kind of thing.
Yes.
And by stepping back too long, they thought that they'd really stuffed this up. You know, they felt so guilty about it, you know, but then I'd sort of shine a little light in there again, you know, everything's okay between us. I love you, you know, can't wait to see you again one day, you know, when you're ready, you know, those sort of things.